So is the stock market going to crash for the State of the Union address or jobs tomorrow? ADP number coming out at 8:15. Let's find out here with our daily SPY analysis. Anyways, let's get into it. It is Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. Again, don't forget to like the video, comment your thoughts. Let me know if you made money in the trading room today. Let me know if you thought the seminar last night was fun. I'll have that posted up later tonight as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up, likes really help out. And thank you guys all for helping me get those that 200 likes per video lately. We'll do a giveaway soon. You got to be subscribed to get involved in that at our next live stream. So anyways, let's get into it here today. So markets today, really with like a double round trip affair. And you're going to see here that Spider's down 1.18. One of the things that jumped out at me immediately as soon as it right out of the gate, as soon as the bell rang, and here you can see we're right into that big 5,800 area, which we swept earlier. But one of the things that jumped out at me, and that the market closed this way too, was that the NASDAQ was actually like the strongest by far. In fact, NVDA, which has led to the downside today, was very strong on a relative basis. I talked about the 110 level this morning, and I said this wouldn't surprise me for it to get back to 120 by the end of the week. We actually pretty much got there today, but Broadcom as well, finishing out up at 11 cents. So these two semiconductors specifically were very much laggards. And today, you can see Broadcom filling that gap, hitting the 200, NVIDIA hitting that key 110 area. They held up today, and semis held up by 1%. You can see the Qs were down 32 basis points. Spiders down 1.18. And then you have the Russell down 1.1. Dow down 1.5. So Dow is actually the loser on the day, which is, again, a shift, right? That's something different. XLV, XLP, and XLU down on the day. Qs, more or less flat, right? Down 1/3%, not terrible. Look at an XLK, down 11 cents. This is interesting to me. Oil testing the 67 handle like we talked about, and getting a very nice V-shape, basically finishing flat on the day as well. Why am I bringing this up? Look at the 10-year yield, right? Recession is the big fear right now. I'm probably going to do an article, probably do a blog post on this, because I did this on January 15th. And I said the case for bonds ahead of CPI. I told you guys TLT was going to 90, then 93. I'm going to say it got to 93. It got to 95, 92, 95 pre-market. Close enough. And this was when everybody was scared about inflation. They were scared about inflation here as well. They said, nope, we're still going to 93. And we got there. And the 10-year now, you have the 10-year yield here, 4.21. I think yields are really attractive right now. And everybody's worried about recession again, just like they were right here when we were going long the yield. So right now, I think that's a positive. That could be definitely seen as a positive for stocks. Right now, previously it was a negative, right? Yields going up. But right now, the market wants to see relief here in this data. And so if yields can manage to scratch out a little bit of a counter-trend rally, that can help lift stocks. Another thing that can help lift stocks that I talked about earlier, I tweeted about this, said USD here on the 4-hour is going to have to, this divergence is going to have to play out. And it started to in the afternoon. And then guess what? We started to sell off. And when did the spider start to sell? Exactly at 15.20, right? So this is so, it's literally like perfectly in lockstep with this. So you're going to need those two things, I think, to change here. Now you still have this nice divergence here on the JPY, dollar yen. And even on like, if we use the futures here, 6J, kind of a bull break there. And not really able to follow through right now. So defensive's backing off. Oil getting a bid at key support. Yields getting a bid at key support. Are we starting to see a shift here? Semis up 1% in a day that the market got blown up. So starting to see a shift maybe. By the way, we're going to be watching this after the close. I'll be talking about this with members. But I think there's about to be a massive short put assignment at 580 and 500. And I'm pretty sure that's happening here, but which is part of why we got pushed down by the end of the day. That said, again, you can see that big squeeze here, a good sell and then a round trip. We finally started to see disorderly selling for the first time in a while. I would have preferred if the VIX got to about 28 Didn't quite get there. So with the State of the Union stuff coming tomorrow or coming tonight, with jobs, ADP jobs coming tomorrow, there's still that open door there for, 565, 570. I wouldn't rule it out, but I think that there's probably some big assignments going on right now. Maybe we retrace this tomorrow, but I think the energy will start to shift a little bit. But three Black Crows could be a setup. They did come in really hard. I mean, they came in and sold that thing really. I knew 5880 ES was going to be some resistance. I mean, you can see it clearly. But we came in and, I mean, within 10 minutes. I mean, let's see. If we go to a 5-minute time frame here, look at this. So 58.75, 10 minutes later, that's a 50-point dump in 10 minutes. And then we continued selling, sold off 100 points in the next, 20. Granted, we were up 145 from the low. So, you're going to get steep moves in there. Volatility's high. The VIX is at 24, 25. Now it's at 2350. So it's a normal move. Volatility backing off just a little bit after hours, but we should close below 580 by the 415 and 500 QQQ by the 415 options close. I'll be watching those assignments for sure to see if they come up. There's a lot of short puts here, so they should hit. That said, what else? Yeah, I was looking for like the 485 here. We didn't quite get there on the Qs. I would have loved a pierce of that trend line. It could still happen. It could still happen here. But massive, massive volatility and really great for day trading. You just got to be nimble and you got to go small. Again, don't be. And this is one thing we talked about yesterday in the seminar was, don't be oversizing, especially in this market, because you need to have that wiggle room, right? You're not going to be getting 10-point moves. We're getting 10-point moves in seconds now, as opposed to 20 minutes. So we got it very, very important to position size. We did hit the 200 here, essentially, on the ES. We did, I mean, we're right on that 5,800 area. This is a level that's been an absolute ATM machine for me. We got it here, we got it here, there. I mean, this has been like 4 or 5 times that I've traded this specific trend line, and we'll see if it turns up a jackpot again. It's certainly paid a little bit already, but watching that as well. Right now, bottom line though, this market's got to clear, this high of the day here, in order to put in some sort of actual pivot low. Until then, you still have bear control and rips can be sold. It's pretty much that simple. So we'll see how this shakes out here. Yes, SPX 5880 or 5780 was a level all day long on this thing. Not a surprise we closed right below it. In fact, it was first thing in the morning that was a level. So there's the spiders. IWM. I'm watching this too. If this pukes out tomorrow, I kind of like 200. Whole round number. You got the weekly 200, weekly 100 in that area. So you could get some reflex right there. This is also a big shelf, right? Right in that area. So I would look for IWM down there to get some sort of a relief bid. If it doesn't already, if we don't get an island or something tomorrow. Dow finally breaking out of that kind of weird broadening bear flag, kind of a weird look there. But then you got the 200 just below on that. So we could see that, the setup is there for the 3 Black Crow here across the board, really. But we'll see how this assignment works here. But again, we got State of the Union tonight. I don't think Trump's going to back off of tariff talk. We'll see. SMH, again, we talked about up 1%. Could be a little bit of a leading signal. That out, kind of went back down to that former channel there. This has been violated too many times, but this one right here is still good. And then below that, we got a big, this here, we got down there on the weekly. That's a slam dunk. 200, 100 moving average on the weekly, third hit of the trend line. That's big level. IGV, almost finished green. It was green for a while, then we had that big sell at the end of the day. This actually didn't sell that hard though, comparatively. So this held up okay. I know Palantir got a good bid. Closing right above that 95 handle. Dow Transports down 2% finally. So I said we don't want to buy that trend line. I like 15,000 a lot better on this. So that finally got sliced there. It's been a long time coming. We talked about yields a little bit, but let's cover the 10 really quick again. Yeah, so we hit that trend line here. Yeah, near term, maybe we'd see like 4-4. Not going to go there in a straight line, but I think this is possibly tradable. I missed the entry. We'll see if it gets a little bit lower. I was kind of hoping it would get to the 618. That was not quite on target there. Yep, there you go. 618 got really close. I think we got there kind of like pre-market though. Yeah, ZN had a real big tail. So so ZN got to a 50%. And they don't always line up. But anyway. XHB was actually pretty strong today. Got to that 97.50 area that we talked about. So that's a big support. And weekly 100. I think this will it's got a good chance to hold at least. Maybe it can go to 95. And there's 92.50 below that. VNQ finally reversing. Where? Right at weekly resistance, right? So there's your weekly red bar, and it finally came back down. This is still an outperformer, though. It's just been going up lately. XLF, big outside move down. Why? Because of the dollar yen. ARE, big down move, dollar yen, right? 200 moving average coming into play there. And then we've got XBD, broker dealers. This is starting to reflect that dollar yen weakness here. 100 moving average getting tested for the first time since August 5th. Oil we talked about. I do think there's a pivot low here. I do like that level. XLE actually held up most of the day, came back in towards the end. Did have some kind of like risk off-ish names like Exxon held up. Dividend payers. But again, I noticed this XLV, XLU, XLP reversed here. And XLK reversed as well, and so did SMH. XOP, no follow through on the bear break. Same thing with OIH, so we'll be watching these for possible squeezes. Nat gas continue to rip, so Canada's going to shut off our lights, I guess. We'll see. The up 5.65%, nice move. And let me just check the J for everybody. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why this can't go to 5. I just don't see why not. See. Dollar index breaking outside of that wedge. So this is not reflective of what yields did. So watch that 105 handle. So unless we reverse tomorrow on jobs, falling wedges kind of failed here. I mean, I guess we could still, this is not even really the best. You could, we could say it's like that. Still kind of valid, but we'll see. 105 is still going to be a good level, I think. Gold here held up today, held up nicely today. That's still got to consolidate. So does silver. We got a couple more weeks. Platinum and palladium bouncing. I don't really like them though. And then copper here still in that tight wedge there. So that can hold up. One thing I noticed here about today as well is that Bitcoin held up really well. And it actually finished green. And yeah, it had the one little dip there at the end, but it's right back. Even Ethereum's flat. So it's still getting a lot of liquidity out of this zone here. We'll see if it ends up squeezing here or not. But Bitcoin held up all right. It's got a higher low attempt. And if that happens, again, I still think this wants to clear this again and try 100K. I expect it to be a lower high, but I still think it can happen. But it could be a positive here for stocks. I think we'll probably have a pivot, if not today already, then probably by tomorrow, honestly. QQ looks pretty good. Actually, really, NQ looks better than anything. ES not looking so great. Holding above that 5,800 area. We'll stay below 5.8. It's 415 now. So now it can bounce back up if it wants. We'll see how that shakes out here. Again, size down in this market. It's great for trading, but you got to be careful because we can get 100-point flushes in 35 minutes here after a 140-point move in like 4 hours, which this is a big move. It just doesn't look like it compared to that. Anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here again. You guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I will see you guys all tomorrow.